Forget everything you think you know about this album, cast aside any of your preconceived notions, and hear me out for just 1 second. This is a prog rock and metal channel, yes. This is an album from a kids show, yes. This is also one of the most beautiful, engaging, and utterly charming releases of the year, and you'd be mad to pass it by. Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, my name is Ian, this is Rhyme Signatures, and we are once again opening the lid on the best new releases in prog rock and metal, and kids show soundtracks. Right, Bluey is a name I'm pretty sure every parent in the country is at least a little bit familiar with at this point. The rectangular Australian dog family of Bandit, Chili, Bingo and Bluey Heeler have warmed their way into the hearts of not only kids but adults alike with its delightful slice-of-life simplicity, endearing characters, fantastic voice acting performances, and perhaps most importantly of all, one of the best soundtracks to any TV show possibly ever. I'm not mincing my words here when I tell you that anyone and everyone can enjoy this aspect of Bluey, even when taken in isolation with zero knowledge or experience of the show beforehand. Geoff Bush, the principal composer for the series, really decided that merely treating this as just a kids show wasn't enough, and that if he was going to make it a bold, challenging, instrumentally complex, and a heartstring-tugging masterpiece that any composer would be very jealous of. We've had 2 albums so far, with Rog Island being the 3rd, and as you can see from my RSD exclusives, as well as owning them on CD, I'm a little bit of an established fan, and Rog Island is no exception to this. The first 2 albums of the Bluey album and Dance Mode both sat very high in my Spotify Wrapped in their respective release years, and I can assure you that Rog Island will be joining this elite club. So maybe you're not convinced, maybe you're, I don't know, too old for this kid stuff, or you'd never be caught dead listening to that. And I get it, I do. Surface level, why on earth would someone who regularly listens to pulse-pounding death metal, progressive black metal, and complex and thought-provoking prog rock ever want to listen to something like this? Well, come with me and maybe I can show you the light. So, slap a shrimp on the barbie and let's head down under to talk about one of the most enjoyable albums of the year. So, to the non-believers, the cynics and the naysayers, how can I possibly convince you to put down the new Geordie Greep, turn off Blood Incantation and push aside Chat Pile? Honestly, I'm not sure I can. But let's talk about why I like this so much and why it's hit me as hard as it has done. Now, the one thing you can attribute to Geoff Bush above anything else is his ability to capture the spirit of fun within the music he's crafted here. There's an infectious energy to the recordings, the joy of discovery, the sheer happiness of the sense of play and adventure is etched into the very fabric of the music. As a consequence, it's practically impossible to wear a frown while listening to Rog Island. But the main point, the crucial deciding factor here, is that it does all of this without ever tipping into the territory of being dangerously saccharine. Music for kids' TV shows, it always runs that risk to appeal only to the main target demographic, whilst forgetting the simple fact that a lot of the time that kids are watching this stuff, hearing the soundtrack, etc., the parents have to do so too. Now, Bluey as a TV show has neatly addressed this concern, with the plot points being surprisingly adult and mature at times, dealing with themes such as miscarriages, infertility, loss, grief, etc., all while managing to make these points easy to understand for children at a surface level. It doesn't condescend or patronise. The points it makes are handled in a remarkable fashion, and a lot of how well these themes are dealt with is translated immaculately into the music. Take one of the leading singles off the album with Onesies. Now, on a surface level, the episode in question involves the children's auntie bringing them onesies to wear, and various hijinks ensue. But the underlying big message is that their auntie cannot bear children. The episode culminates in the kids' mother, Chili, and their auntie, Brandy, reconciling these differences by reenacting a dance they used to do as children themselves. The music starts off simple, faltering and nervous, echoing the stiffened muscle memory of the two sisters. But as their confidence grows, the music reflects this, and we erupt into a triumphant chorus of trumpets before slowing down into a beautiful, introspective piano lead-out. It's music like this that honestly rules the roost on the album and on the show in general. For me though, the most affecting parts of the show and in the music are when we're dealing with issues that seem simple on the surface, but if you scratch a little beyond that, you'll find something a bit more heartfelt and serious. Turtle Boy is a great example of this. Feeling in part at times like a lost Will Wood song, the acoustics that carry the body of the track are absolutely gorgeous and surprisingly complex. It's a story about learning to share something that was never yours to begin with, accepting that you can't keep something and moving on beyond that. And the music is a mirror reflection of that mood. It is simple, it's elegant, and it's heart-achingly beautiful. It's hard to really pinpoint an overall favourite track, given that there's not really a single weak link or otherwise annoying song to be found here. Dance mode suffered a little bit with tracks like Chattermax and Lollipop Yum Yum Yum, which, all memes aside, let's be real here, are little more than joke tracks. Everything on Rog Island is either good or fantastic, giving us the first real no-skips record in the Bluey catalogue. I'm personally a huge fan of Fairy Tale, as it embraces the 1980s storytime nostalgia of the episode it's pulled from. Big keys, sweeping guitars, and a real sense of whimsy keep the energy flowing. But I think if I could only choose one song to represent the whole album, it would be Cricket. The central melody is pure joy. The feel and mood of the music is full of the kind of energy needed to carry anyone through the worst of days. It's the kind of music you can envisage bringing absolutely everyone together. A sort of celebration, the culmination of everyone's hard work into an explosion of pure, unadulterated joy. It sums up the whole record for me. The whole vibe of Bluey as a show and a concept is encapsulated perfectly in 3 minutes and 36 seconds, and I get goosebumps just thinking about it. And then, of course, there's the title track itself, split into 3 parts across the album's runtime. If ever there was music written to showcase a father's love for his children, it is this. The spine-chilling choir, the haunting piano lead, the clarinet, it's all got this delightful sense of playfulness and discovery. But what breaks me is how the track ends, how the album ends, with the line from the TV show that gets me every single time, where Chili, the mum, asks Bandit, the dad, "What did she give you?" And with a kind of happiness and warmth that only a proud father can muster, Bandit closes the album with everything. Okay, look, I'm not punching down on this album because musically it's essentially flawless at what it's doing, so my cons section here is mostly going to be some personal gripes about what's not on the album rather than what is, you know? I'm still holding out for Sleepy Time, dang it! Fans of the show will know exactly what I'm talking about here, but the Joff Bushified version of Jupiter, the Bringer of Joy, is one of the most emotionally affecting moments of the entire show. Now, I've watched that episode dozens of times, and the music still reduces me to a fit of tears every single time I watch it, and the fact we still don't have it on any of the official soundtracks is a bit of a personal disappointment. I'm also slightly down on the fact we don't have a closing off vocal-driven track this time round. Dance Mode had Rain Boldly Into the Pretend, and the Bluey album had I Know a Place, the Creek song. So, part of me had honestly been really hoping we would have gotten the shortened version of Meg Washington's Lazarus Drug, the song that closed off the 30-minute-long season finale of The Sign. Now, I understand it's likely due to licensing issues, but it's still a slight mark on what would have otherwise made for a perfect end to an immaculate album. I mean, sure, I could just go and listen to that song independently on Washington's album of Bat Flowers, but it just hits that little bit harder for me when taken in context of the plot of The Sign. It does also feel that maybe there's not quite as many upper-tier highs on Rog Island as on previous records. There's more iconic songs to be found elsewhere. Here Come the Grannies, Fruit Bat, Pool, and Taxi from the Bluey album. The title track, Sticky Gecko, Grandad, and Rain from Dance Mode are all amongst the absolute best of the bunch from Joff. And while there's nothing weak on Rog Island, I feel there's nothing quite up there with that elite selection, but this is more down to my own personal preferences than any truly negative commentary on the album. So, what else can I possibly say about Bluey's Rug Island? Look, I appreciate that this video might seem a little strange. A 38-year-old childless gay man who specialises in the more extreme metal side of the musical coin, reviewing the album to a children's TV show, but I promise you this record is worth your time. Whether you're a veteran of depressive doom metal, a fan of experimental hip-hop, or a long-time advocate of noodling progressive rock. I am not expecting this really to resonate with everyone outside of the immediate Bluey fandom, but I am asking that you just maybe give it a shot. It's 41 minutes out of your lives, and you might find yourself realising that there's room in your heart for a family of rectangular Australian dogs after all. I have a very personal connection to the show and its music. When I got COVID back in 2020, which sucked by the way, I needed something cute and innocent to make me feel joy again. Now, I tried watching the show from the recommendation of a friend, and it turned out to be the precise medicine I'd always needed. Who knew? I've had a particular affinity with the show, and especially with the music ever since, so my biases might be showing in that regard, but you know. I have my own physical copy showing up pretty soon, and of course my recommendation will be to do likewise. This is more than just a quick, soulless cash grab. This is music written and composed by a man whose heart is on his sleeve and who really, genuinely, passionately cares about what he does, and it is communicated and carried across the experience honestly quite beautifully. This is all, of course, guys, just my opinion, so if you do decide to amuse my excitement here and try out Rug Island for yourselves, I'd love to know what you thought of it. If you loved it, if you hated it, please talk to me about how you felt about Rug Island in the comments down below. If you did like this video, please do give me a thumbs up. If you've been enjoying my content so far, please do also consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, guys, until next time, keep your rhyme signatures pretty odd.